Well, you heard, my name is Dan Gonzalez, and I'm the chairman of the Constitution Party of Florida. We're the third largest party in the United States, and we ran a presidential, vice presidential candidate last election by the name of Chuck Baldwin and Darrell Castle. Some of you may remember them.
Yep.
Actually, Chuck Baldwin is he's a pastor here in northern Florida, and he has a radio talk show, and he also sends out a very important email and newsletter that he sends all over the United States. And Chuck Baldwin and Darrell Castle were, of course, on the ballot. Some of you may remember seeing their names on there. But we got this last election more votes than we had in any previous presidential election. So, but we here in Florida, you know, folks, we're past the 11th hour in losing our liberty. We don't have another day.
That's right.
You know, we either do it now or we don't do it at all, really, as far as I'm concerned. And I know many people, I travel all over the state, I talk to people on a daily basis, and we pretty much all feel the same way. Anyone who has any type of an awakening and understanding of what's happening, and I see more and more people becoming awake, or waking up to these facts every single day, which is good news. I'm really glad to see that. It's almost a bit too late, but we have a big job in front of us here. This isn't about, you know, any of us staying in our homes and just and being armchair patriots. Every single person here, as an American, as a Floridian, I will say first, has a responsibility to reach their hand out to their fellow Floridian and talk about and discuss what's going on in our country today. It's not, you know, I've lost good friends because we disagree politically. I've lost people in my family that won't talk to me anymore because we disagree politically. I'm not the one cutting off those connections or ties with those people. They're the ones that are cutting it off with me, because I will not budge one micro inch on the fact that our Constitution has been decimated for many, many years now. This didn't just happen with Barack Obama. This didn't just happen with George Herbert Walker Bush, or with George Bush, our last president, or with Bill Clinton, or any of them. This has been going on for over 100 years. In fact, this has been going on since, really in a big way, since 1913 in the Federal Reserve Act.
Amen.
Because I'm going to tell you something right now. Any country that doesn't have control of their money has no control over anything.
That's right.
That would be like you. That's so absurd to even believe that it could happen. That would be like me coming over to you as a complete stranger and telling me to give, you know, why don't you give me your checkbook? I'll take care of all your finances and make your house payment, your mortgage payment, and your car payments and everything else. Don't worry about it. You just deposit the money and I'll control it.
And charge you interest.
Who would be willing to do that for me right now? Well, gee, I don't see anyone raising their hand. Then why in the world would you allow some bureaucrat to do that, or a private corporation named the Federal Reserve?
Right.
Some of you may not know that the Federal Reserve is a private corporation of international bankers that have control over the entire money system of our economy here in the United States. And what they did was they conned. It's you know, we heard about Bernie Madoff and the big Ponzi scheme. Well, the Federal Reserve is the biggest Ponzi scheme on the face of the earth. What they do is they signed a contract, you know, it was passed in the middle of the night, the Federal Reserve Act, and then what they did through our Congress, December 25th, 1913, and basically what our Congress did was give them a right to tell us to go ahead and print the money, give it back to them, they pay a little bit for it, and then they loan it back to us at high interest rates. And that would be, again, like your neighbor coming up to you and saying, give me all of your money, and let me know how much you need, and then I'll loan it back to you at interest. Again, who here is going to be willing to do that with their neighbor? How absurd. And I've made this comparison before. You know, why do we allow our public servants to conduct their business, and we wouldn't dare handle our own homes in that manner? Think about what I'm saying here. How many of us would go into a deficit like our federal government is in and our state governments are? Would you do that to your own home? And run your own home that way? No, you wouldn't. Your own household, you wouldn't do it. Well, let me tell you about the Constitution Party. Now, it's amazing how, I want to say also that the battle is for your mind, and for the minds of your neighbors, and for the minds of your children. And obviously, this coming Tuesday, when Barack Obama gives a speech to all the schools across America, there's a reason for that speech. And there's a reason why he wants... How many of you in here know about that speech that's going to happen on Tuesday? Okay. How many of you are in favor of it? No hands again. Well, I don't know about you, but I definitely don't need Barack Obama telling my children about the way they should conduct themselves as a citizen of this state. Because my children are first citizens of Florida. That's what they are, citizens of Florida, because Florida is my nation. This is my country, not D.C. D.C. is not my country, I'm sorry. Some of you may not understand what I'm saying. Lean over to the person next to you and ask them to explain that to you if you don't understand that. Our founding fathers said, my state is my country. And that's what the 10th Amendment and the Bill of Rights talks about. Now, the Constitution Party, we are a political party. We're called the Constitution Party, and the reason why we are the Constitution Party is because we stand for the Constitution. Our public servants, who is everyone who takes a government paycheck is our public servant, swore an oath of office to uphold that Constitution and protect it from enemies, foreign and domestic. But it seems that the very people we ask to protect us, or to protect that Constitution, are actually the ones who become our enemies. You know, it wasn't comfortable back in the times for our founding fathers to say that their homeland, which was England, had become their enemy. Because freedom is never comfortable, nor is it ever free. It always comes at a price.
That's right.
This whole business that we're about today is never comfortable. I would rather be home with my wife and children than I would be here today. This is part of my duty. That's why I'm here. That's why Dr. Marshall DeRosa is here and everyone else who came with us today from Palm Beach County, because this is our duty. Of course there are other things I would rather be doing today, but yet here I am. I got up early, had to get up early, had to get in the car with a bunch of guys, you know, and I'd rather be sitting next to my wife, to be honest with you. I'd rather be in a car having a conversation with my children. Don't get me wrong, not that I don't love these guys and respect them greatly, because I do, because they're all patriots. Because they're doing their duty by being here today just as you are. You could be somewhere else doing something else. How many people are in Okeechobee? What's the population here? 40,000? How many people are here compared to that 40,000? See? But then again, liberty and anything great, extraordinary things are never done by the majority. Extraordinary things are always accomplished by an extraordinary minority.
That's right.
That's how it goes, folks. So I know that. We're not here looking for 10,000 people to jump on board, because we know that's not going to happen. But what we're here looking for are a few people that are going to hear our message and say, I can stand behind that. Now, I have to tell you that Dr. Marshall DeRosa, he is our U.S. Senate candidate. He's running against Marco Rubio, well, we don't know, Charlie Christopher Marco Rubio in the Republican Party, and then also Meeks in the Democratic Party, and there's a few other guys in there, I think, there's a no party affiliation or whatever. But Dr. Marshall DeRosa is doing this not because he's a politician. He's actually hoping to become a statesman when he wins. He will not be a politician, but he will be a statesman. And he's doing this to his country. He has a lovely family also back in Wellington, Florida, and I know for a fact that he would be back there working on his home or doing something back at home. Of course, you know, we love coming out this way because, you know, we're always looking for a gun range, too, where we can stop off and fire off a few rounds. Because I don't know if you know what Palm Beach County's like anymore, but we can't even shoot a gun off in Palm Beach County. And all of us have guns, obviously. We're Floridians. We own firearms.
That's right.
And I didn't say firearm. I said firearms.
That's right.
Because, you know, as Charlton Heston said, from our cold dead